Aloha, everybody. This is Tiggy Maximus with Tiggy Maximus Talks, episode 206, on Spotify and YouTube. On this episode, 206, I'm going to talk about one comedy show, Janelle Draper. She was headlining the Gold Room in the Mic Drop Comedy Club in Claremont Mesa Boulevard. Again, great venue. They have a new menu. Pretty tasty. They incorporated chicken katsu on top of their sidewinder fries. Gotta say, the katsu fries was pretty good. It's kind of cool. They like to refresh the menu once in a while. That's always a good thing. Can't always keep having the same menu all the time unless you're in and out. For that show, yeah, Janelle Draper was headlining the show. She had Anthony Davis hosting the show for her. And then there was two other comics, Ellen Sugarman. She was on the show. And we also have so we also have Jim Gallagher, and we also had Anthony Davis hosting, Jim Gallagher, Ellen Sugarman, and our headliner Janelle Draper. So overall, great show. Everyone did really well. Anthony Davis got on the microphone, started the show off. He talked a lot about his hometown. Talked about dating, finding his wife. I guess kind of alluded that he talks that way all the time, so he has a kind of like a southern accent. I think he might have brought up January 6th, so that's funny because Donald Trump is our new president number 47. He defeated Kamala Harris. Just want to throw that in there. Yeah, so with all that material, Anthony Davis did really well hosting. Crowd liked a lot of the stuff that he had to say. I want to say he probably was up there for like 10-15 minutes probably. So but I enjoyed his comedy. He did win the SoCal Funniest Comic Mic Drop Comedy Club tournament. I think that was like probably last year, 2023. I remember I was supposed to go to the finals with my friend Jackie, but I was hosting a UFC viewing party, and I never left home and skipped out on the finals like I had promised. Anthony Davis won that tournament, so it seems like he might be running again. There's like a $1,000 prize at the end if you make it to the end. So so yeah, Anthony Davis, I would say he was an 8.7 out of 10 for his comedy. Great job hosting. Next we have Jim Gallagher. Nice seeing the guy again. Um, he talks about um, not being a people person. He has this bit about things a woman could get away with that a guy can't. Like saying like, if you're a woman, you see someone's baby for the first time, and say it in a voice where this baby is so cute, I just want to eat him up. Versus when a guy says it, that baby is cute, I'm gonna eat the baby up. Two different tones, two different ways for the same dialogue and intent. So, I, you know, I totally understand that. Probably can't do that. uh, but overall, a lot of stuff that Jim Gallagher was saying, um, uh, I would say Jim was super funny. Um, he did mention a reference to dating, and like if he was a single guy and seeing a beautiful woman, he'll be honest about his reaction. Uh, so I want to say Jim Gallagher was a 8.7 out of 10. Pretty good job. Next up was Ellen Sugarman. Um, Super funny as well. She brought up dating. She talked about another comic, Natasha Collier, about the nicknames of drugs like marijuana, cocaine. Um, then she also talked about how she pulled up to a stoplight and this guy pulled up next to her. And I guess the guy in the other car had asked Ellen, "You want to see me um, jack off in his car?" And she mentioned that I guess the guy was like her date or boyfriend afterwards. Um, she did mention how her vibrator can turn off the power in a 2 mile radius for the old types of vibrators that looks like selfie sticks. Overall, she did pretty well. I want to say that she was a 8.7 out of 10 as well. Then we have Janelle Draper. Um, I'm glad I got to see her full set because I've only seen her do like maybe 15 minutes, maybe no more than 20 minutes, sometimes maybe just 10 minutes in other shows before. Um, but this one, she did a little bit of crowd work. She tried to set up some people, including myself. She was trying to ask this lady in the front row, and I had said, as a way to market myself, that I love comedy, sports, and food. Um, I'm a foodie. I'm a comedy fan. I'm a big sports fanatic. So I didn't get a date that night, but it was kind of cool. Janelle was trying to, you know, trying to encourage, try to, um, you know, hype up the potential that I could be very dateable. So it was kind of cool. She did that for myself, and she did for another guy. Um, you should bring the comedy, sports, food guy with you on the next time you go on a hike or something. Um, so Janelle Draper also talked about how um, she was kind of talking to a guy, but it turns out that the guy's um, like dad and her mom they got together. So technically now the guy she was talking to are now step siblings. Um, saying that dinners are usually pretty awkward. Um, and then at one point, I think she mentioned how um, is it weird that she wanted to get together with her stepbrother's half brother? uh, Not blood related, but somehow it sounds very incestuous. um, I like how she kind of owns up to it, so she's pretty funny with that. And she did talk about how reception, wedding reception speeches are very cliche when the best man and the maid of honor um, have to uh, have to give speeches on behalf of the bride and groom. Uh, she has this thing where she went into the voice of what it would sound like for like a bridesmaid or a maid of honor, where um, she just brings up the past of, you know, past mistakes. I guess she had one for Seaman Sarah. Uh, she was known in college as Seaman Sarah. And then talk about partying at Cabo or Mardi Gras. Uh, Talking about, you know, engaging or getting married to your sponsor. Uh, First time anyone has ever got married at AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. So it's kind of cool. She brought all those things up. It made everybody laugh. It just kept getting more funny with every couple minutes she has something to say. So Janelle Draper, I actually did see her at the Abnormal Heights comedy with Alex Petit and McKay Bushnell. So uh, so overall, Janelle did pretty well. Um, she kind of addressed a lot of people in the room, including myself. Um, so I kind of volunteered myself when I guess it was kind of like part of the setting up matchmaking portion of the show. Um, so the fact that I was pretty isolated when I said I'm single. um, so yeah, I really enjoyed her show, and I enjoyed everybody else on the lineup. So kudos to Janelle Draper. She was a 8.75. Ellen Sugarman 8.7. Jim Gallagher 8.7, and Anthony Davis 8.7. So yeah, catch these comics at a show near you. They all do pretty well at shows. They never ever bomb. I don't think I've ever seen them bomb before. Um, so it's kind of a joy talking to um, all the comics: Ellen, Jim, Anthony, and Janelle Draper. And got pictures with Janelle, Anthony. So it's kind of cool talking to these people after the show, see what they're kind of up to these days. Um, and so, um, oh, you know, I forgot to talk about UFC 308. So it was an early one. I probably haven't talked about it yet. If I did, I'm going to talk about it again. Main event, Ilya Taporia defending his featherweight championship against Max Holloway, who happens to be the BMF champion as of right now. Um, Max Holloway has knockout power. He likes to strike with high volume. Um, Ilya Taporia, knockout power, very calculative, very strategic. Um, That one, I was looking forward to that fight. Max Holloway, I think he got around. I think Ilya got around as well. Anytime when Ilya does land something, it has like a big impact on Max Holloway. For Max Holloway, he's got a lot of high output with his striking, but it wasn't like as damaging as a blow coming from Ilya Taporia. Um, so honestly, it's just more like quality over quantity, which is pretty much how I saw this. Um, and I noticed in the third round when those powerful blows from Ilya Taporia were starting to land a lot more, uh, you kind of forget the high volume of striking from Max Holloway. Almost as if it didn't really do a lot of damage to Ilya Taporia. So Ilya was pretty much locked in. Taporia pretty much worked on leg kicks, head strikes, body shots. So it got to a point in the third round where that final big blow from Ilya Taporia on Max Holloway, and I think I saw it, but Max Holloway stopped altogether. His hands were down, and he was just absorbing and just processing how damaging of a blow it was from that last blow. And all of a sudden, you can smell the blood in the water. Ilya Taporia was going for the knockout, and I think he got the knockout punch in the in one of his combos after he got that big blow, just moments before, and Max Holloway crashed to the canvas. And Ilya Taporia had some follow up punches, but the referee saw enough. That was the end of the fight. Ilya Taporia is still your featherweight champion of the UFC. Kudos to Ilya Taporia. Who knows who is next? It could be Alexander Volkanovski. They'll probably run that back. And then there's also Diego Lopez, who happens to be waiting in the wings. Whoever wins the fight between Alex and Ilya. But I think Ilya Taporia could probably beat both guys. So, and then the co-main event, we got Hamzat Chimaev fighting against Robert Whitaker, the former middleweight champion. That one was pretty awesome to watch because you get to watch Chimaev come back from injury and illnesses, and he had a dominant performance. He took some leg kicks from Robert Whitaker, but Chimaev was able to fake out Robert Whitaker, make him think that he was going to go for head strikes, but he ended up going for his ankles, and he took down Robert Whitaker, kept him down. Anytime Robert Whitaker almost got away from Chimaev, but Chimaev just ends up bringing him back down, and the finish was coming very close afterwards. Chimaev climbed the back of Robert Whitaker, and Chimaev was able to get a chokehold on Robert Whitaker, and it was kind of a mixture of a rear naked choke and a face crank. And it turns out the moment that Chimaev did the face crank, rear naked choke, he broke the jaw of Robert Whitaker, and Robert Whitaker tapped out immediately, and Chimaev won by submission. And that took 3 minutes and 34 seconds. So it looks like Chimaev is going to get his title shot, whoever wins between Sean Strickland and the champion Dricus Du Plessis. Or if they're going to skip Sean Strickland and go straight with Chimaev and Du Plessis. So either way, we're going to have a good fight either way. So next we had Rakic versus Ankalev. This one was kind of a boring fight, kind of lackluster. but Ankalev did get some very effective striking, much better efficient striking than Rakic, and Ankalev won by split decision. Uh, no, he won by unanimous decision, but I think it was like 29-28 unanimous. So kudos to Ankalev, who will probably have the title shot against Alex Pereira for the light heavyweight championship. That will probably happen probably spring of 2025. So, and then we got a, I believe it was a, Dan Ige versus Lerone Murphy. I really thought someone was going to get knocked out in this one. They both have powerful hands, powerful strikes, powerful knockouts. However, it looked like Dan Ige had the upper hand at some time during this fight, but Lerone Murphy, he came back, had his own efficient striking as well, and it was a split decision, I believe. Murphy defeated Ige by a split decision. So, and then the only other fight I saw was the opener of 308. I don't think I watched any of the prelims, so I started watching from the beginning of the main card. And the beginning of the main card was, I think his name was Bullet, Shara Bullet Magomedov. He basically had the knockout of Petrosyan, and he did it by a double spinning elbow strike. He went one way with a spinning elbow, and he went the other way with a spinning elbow, and the second part caught Petrosyan for the knockout. That was pretty impressive. I'd never seen it like that before. The last time I see someone do a double spinning elbow remind me of a stick figure that had, I guess like, I guess you could say the drums were, I guess like wooden drums that are placed on the stick figure, and there's little strings tied to the hands, and what's at the end of the string from the hands is like, I guess, like little balls tied to the string, which if you turn the stick figure, it'll hit the drums every single time you turn. So that kind of reminds me of that, of the double spinning elbow. So, so quite a knockout, great submission, a couple of decision fights, and a brilliant knockout to retain a championship. So, overall, a really great main card of UFC 308, which is coming from Abu Dhabi. So, it was an early fight. I got to go to pictures for that one, and I believe I had I think I might have had wings at pictures. So the food was actually pretty good. I want to say it was a 8.4 out of 10. And there was a nice turnout for the early UFC 308, so it was pretty fun, and I got to watch some good fights and hung out with some good friends. Thanks for hanging in, D2 Nice and Steven. So, and Steven brought his brother. So, so the next big fight is going to be Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. That's going to be on Netflix. That's on November 15th. And then November 16th is going to be UFC 309 from Brooklyn, New York. The headliner for that one is Bones Jones defending his heavyweight championship against Stipe Miocic, the greatest heavyweight of all time versus the greatest light heavyweight champion of all time, who happens to then become the heavyweight champion as of right now. So it should be a good fight. Can't wait to see that one. And stay tuned. Well, guys, that's all from me, guys. Remember to have some good food, have some good company, watch some good fights, watch some good comedy shows. Remember to spread the word about this podcast. Remember to subscribe, follow this podcast. Also, donate to the podcast. There's a link on my Spotify and my YouTube episodes, which will lead you to Spotify, and you can donate to the podcast anything you want. Anything is appreciated. Well, that's it for me, guys. Boom. Tiggy Maximus. Signing off. Baby. Alright, later, guys. Have a good week. Go Chargers.